Alrighty, guys. So more news on Slaughterhouse Sports, and this one is kind of a two-parter, so might even be a little bit longer in length, and we're going to take our time, try to dissect a lot of angles of this, okay? Deshaun Foster, UCLA, is now making a pretty seismic change, and I'm totally down with the change. But let's talk about the changes. So, Spencer G here, Slaughterhouse Sports. UCLA is letting go of Eric Bienemy. Eric Bienemy he's a coach for the Kansas City Chiefs for a very long time. You know, he was with Andy Reid as a running backs coach, and then he, really helped call the plays in, throughout Patrick Mahomes' first 5 years, which resulted in a couple Super Bowls. Then he went out with Ron Rivera and was basically the offensive coordinator in Washington for the Washington Redskins. And then he decided to then come to UCLA. All right. So that is what has transpired with Eric Bienemy. This year, the UCLA Bruins have gone 5-7 this year, which isn't very good. Their offense with Ethan Garbers at quarterback. Now, this was just 1 year at UCLA. So, again, he didn't have a lot of time to recruit. And this whole thing, Chip Kelly quit, I believe, in the spring is when Chip Kelly quit. So, in fairness to Bienemy, this isn't a job. This wasn't a job that, he was planning, on staying for the long haul and so on and so forth. And there were a lot of moving parts and issues. So, UCLA this year, they started out 1-5. They ended the season better. They went to Nebraska and won. They went to Rutgers. They even won. They even beat Iowa. Ethan Garbers had some success late. They were competitive with USC and Washington. 5-7 isn't very good, but they were 1-5 to start. And with Deshaun Foster, it could have been a total disaster. The recruiting was down. Chip Kelly left. They had to hire interim pretty quickly, and Deshaun took advantage of the opportunity because that's what it was. It was an opportunity. Deshaun Foster was at UCLA for a long time as a running backs coach. He was a great player at UCLA. He's made it work. They came out, they beat Nebraska, they beat Iowa. UCLA did work in the second half of the season, but the first half of the season, they were getting blown off the field by every single opponent, and they were tough opponents, but it was flat out ugly. And it could have even been as bad as a Neil Brennan debut season at Arizona. I just threw Neil Brennan, I guess, under the bus. He's a really good guy, but he had a rough year. They bounced back Deshaun Foster to at least have a decent, opening year, to at least really fight back and give the fans a little bit of optimism. All right, but UCLA, guys, 18 points a game, that's not going to cut it. That ranks them into the 100s. 329 yards a game, ranks them 109th in the country. Points per play, 115th in the country. They were all right on third down conversions in red zone. They wanted to go the NFL model. Now, what is being said is that this is a mutual parting because Eric Bienemy's agent is saying that he really wants to get back in pro football and he really wanted to help Deshaun out, and it was a tough situation. So I totally get it. It's not like he completely failed at these places. He's gone to situations where at UCLA he might have been able to stay. Now, I know that Bienemy's style, and he'll tell you, is very, very demanding. So I think that he might even prefer an NFL model. Again, he doesn't need to recruit. He could just, coach schematics, coach up football, dealing with grown men rather than, recruiting college kids, right? So for Bienemy, I think that this was a mutual kind of parting, all right? But the offense wasn't incredibly good, and it's more turbulence for Bienemy since Kansas City. So we have to see if Bienemy's going to stick it out somewhere. It was tough because he didn't get an NFL job, and then he went to Washington with Sam Howell, did as well as he could with Sam Howell. This offense wasn't that great. Washington Redskins was a mixed result, okay? Now, so for Bienemy, it's fine. I bet that Bienemy Is he going to get an offensive coordinator role in the NFL? Like, I'm not sure because, again, I think Bienemy is either love or hated. I think that he's very, very intense. So some of the players if you remember in Washington, they were like, this guy's really, really intense. And then again, you don't know if he's going to bounce somewhere. So if I was a head coach, I'd have a little bit of pause because, Bienemy, again, strives to be a head coach. All right, which is fine. But again, you might want somebody, okay, I have a little bit of stability here. I might have a coordinator that stays under me for a couple of years, again, before leaving. So it's been, ever since leaving Reed, it's been, where is Bienemy going to end up every single year? All right. Interesting second part of this story. So not only are they making a coordinator change after 1 year at UCLA, but then they hire Sal Sunseri. All right. Or excuse me, they hire Tino Sunseri. So Tino Sunseri, he played ball at Pittsburgh from 2011 to 2013, even played some quarterback there, played then in the CFL at the Saskatchewan team in Canada from 2013 to 2015. And then he was with Jeremy Pruitt in Tennessee. He was a grad assistant. And then he was with Nick Saban also as a grad assistant. His dad is Sal Sunseri. And his dad is a linebackers coach, special teams coach, an advisor to Nick Saban. Okay, was with Nick Saban way back at LSU at 2000, was with Michigan State, was with Nick Saban from 2009 to 2011. Sal Sunseri, his dad, was also with the Carolina Panthers and John Fox, when they had, I want to say like Luke Kuechly or Jabril Peppers, and they went to the Super Bowl and had those teams with Jake Delhomme when John Fox and those guys in Charlotte were balling out, okay, kind of during our childhood. If you're in the 30s, if you're a 30-year-old like myself or in your 20s or, yeah, the Carolina Panthers were a lot of fun. So Sal, his dad, is really a legendary coach, not only up in Pittsburgh, the Sunseri name, but throughout college football. He has really been with Nick Saban. He was with Nick Saban from 2009 to 2011 as well, so a part of national championship teams. That's where Sunseri and Cignetti, both of these families are from Pittsburgh, and they both kind of know each other, and I think that Sal and Kurt, they're around the same age, and they were both at Alabama in 2009, 2010. All right. So his other son is a coach for the Washington. His other son is Vinny, who played at Alabama, the brother of Tino Sunseri. So he comes from such a football family of royalty, okay? And that's important because he has great experiences with Nick Saban. His brother worked with Bill Belichick. His brother played for the Patriots. So, guys, this is awesome. And then Tino himself, as an offensive coordinator, was with Ben DiNucci. And Ben DiNucci was at James Madison, had a very successful career. Okay, DiNucci was a former Pittsburgh quarterback just like Tino was. And James Madison was awesome. All right. And that's how Curt Cignetti got Indiana. And then Tino has pretty much been working with Curtis Rourke, who is a Canadian-born quarterback from Ohio, and was at Ohio a very long time. And Indiana, guys, has been sensational. So Tino was going to be in high demand. And now, really, I believe that they have co-offensive coordinators at Indiana, which is with Kurt. And I believe another person is also helping creating plays. But for for Tino now, he gets some good coaching experience. Deshaun's going to really give him this offense. He is young. He's a young coordinator. We're going to see if Neuheisel's son continues to stay on staff as a tight ends coach. So very interesting. I like it from UCLA's perspective a lot. How could you argue with Indiana's results? How could you argue with the work that Tino has done at James Madison with that offense, with Curt Cignetti? and now how could you mind getting a James Madison and a Indiana coach, and also, I mean, just the family lineage, that I tried to explain there with Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, his brother being an NFL player and a great player at Alabama, and his father being like really a coaching veteran and a real sort of legend in a lot of parts of the country for coaching football. It's exciting, guys. I'm excited to see how this offense develops. I think it's going to take maybe 1, 2, or 3 cycles. I think that, again, for Tino, I want to see this be about 3 or 4 years. They just got Robert McDaniel. I'm going to spend some time tonight reviewing this quarterback who decommitted from Arizona now to UCLA. And I'm going to check out, his tape and see what's going to go on with the UCLA offense. His brother is up in Washington. For Eric Bienemy, let's see if he lands on as an offensive coordinator. I think that there's a chance that he could be a QB coach somewhere very good. That at the very worst, and yeah, so it's been turbulent for Bienemy, all right, but again, like, he tried his best to get a head coaching job, and Bienemy's intense, but a lot of people love that intensity about him, and his schemes are pretty damn good. And just working with Garbers again, Garbers is pretty decent, but again, like, a lot of UCLA's roster went to the league, so Chip left them in a very tough predicament, and it's a testament to Deshaun Foster. Like, I thought it would be even rougher than 5-7. Like, I thought this could have been like a 3-win team. All right, so I give credit to Foster for actually continuing the battle the second half of the year, and maybe Foster can kind of turn this into a Dan Campbell-like situation where the first year was rough, but then they showed some fight in these games, finished out the season well, and now this could be a leapfrog situation. So Sunseri is young. I think that it's not going to hit immediately. I think that it'll take him a couple of years to get his players, his system in there, even with the transfer portal. All right. And the Big Ten is incredibly competitive, but it's going to be a lot of fun now to see, okay, and for his development, you're away from Cignetti. It's your show now. What are you going to do now, Tino, with this offense? And he's young, so it comes with risk, but I like it for UCLA. I really do. And yeah, so Tino Sunseri now at UCLA.